What's good, YouTube? It's Rico here, and I've got a deck profile for 3-Axis Dragon Link with cards from Duel Overload. So, normally I don't post deck profiles these days until after I take the deck to a tournament and, like, am successful with it. There's a couple reasons for this. The first one is that, sometimes when I come up with, like, ideas like this, I want to, like, kind of keep it to myself. Not that I think people go out of their way to find my YouTube channel of, like, some 100 subscribers or whatever to look for good deck ideas. But you never know who's gonna, like, look for something and find a good idea. Another reason is just that, like, generally when I build decks, it takes a long time for me to finally, like, settle down onto, like, what specifically I really like for the build. So generally when I wait till I get a successful, like, top or any type of result with the deck, that means the deck performed the way I wanted it to, and that means there isn't as much that I would probably want to change. The reason I'm doing this, like, immediately, like, we literally just got Duel Overload today, and yeah, I've messed with this for, like, about a week or so. The reason I'm posting it now is because of the coronavirus. There's no events going on right now. My original plan was I was going to take this to YCS Charlotte, which was supposed to be next weekend. It got postponed because of the virus, which, like, I mean, kind of sucks. Completely makes sense. The virus is kind of a big deal. That's all I'm really going to say about it in regards to that. But because of that, I don't really have an event where I'm going to use this, and I am fully expecting that a lot of the cards in this deck are going to get banned, because this is really broken. And I can't, there's so many of these cards, I can't imagine they're going to stay legal just either as, like, preemptive hits because of fiber, or because, like, one of them's, like, Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. There's no way they're going to keep that card legal unless we get the errata. So yeah, I mean, so I'm just going to show it off. This is a very rough draft. I'm sure there's a lot of this I could fix if I had more time to play a test, or if I had more reason to play a test. There's just no reason to really enter events right now, because there are none. So yeah, let's just get into it. So yeah, like I said, it's 3-Axis Dragon Link. This is similar idea to the one that got second at YTS Utrecht, I think. I slimmed it down to 40 cards just because I felt like in his 60 card build, there was a lot of stuff that I didn't really think was necessary, and I felt like you could easily slim it down to 40 and be successful with it. That was one of the biggest reasons. So yeah, and the biggest reason I went with this as opposed to, like, a bigger Dragon Link focus is that with all the cards that are currently legal, I think that this is the deck that's, like, most likely to break both, like, Fiber and Union Carrier. Along with just Cherubini being one of my favorite cards. So yeah, I'll try and show off a test, like, opening hand after the deck. But the general idea is that you're going to end on, like, Appaloosa up here, and then you're going to have, like, Trigate Wizard, Union Carrier, Avramax, Borreload Savage, equipped with the Dragon Buster that prevents something from the extra deck. And, like, I've been able to get it pretty consistently, so hopefully it works out when I try it. So to start off with, like, level 3 extenders, 3 Junk Forward, 2 of each of Tsuchinoko and Jackalope. I just said those backwards. I mean, these are all pretty obvious. These are probably the best level 3 extenders, just because of how generically useful they are. 2 Tour Guide, and then Graph, Seer, Libic. These are how you play around Appaloosa, or you play around Nibiru by making Appaloosa with these, and then if they Nibiru you before you Appaloosa, then Seer will revive Cherubini, and then you can use that in the Nibiru token to make Draco Master the Tenyi, and then you just continue the way you already were. Carboneddon, because it's 40 cards, you don't really need 2 of them, and you still play the 3 Fossil Dig to search it out. And then because of Fossil Dig, you still play Gillosaurus. Like, I mean, this card kind of sucks because if you're going second, or if your opponent just puts a card in the graveyard, you revive it. And I mean, Gillosaurus. There's no other, like, level 3 dinosaur extender that you can search that's better than this if you need to. And then 1 tracker and 1 wielder. I was considering switching this to 2 wielder just because wielder is a tuner for fiber. But because of the way the lines in the deck go right now, there's a specific point where you're making fiber, and it's after you do all the level 3 plays. So because of that, I decided to just stick with the 1/1 just to have name diversity. But yeah, those are the level 3 monsters. Those, I guess these are like the starter cards. These are the ones you want to see. The only ones you don't want to open with are like the Burning Abyss cards. But yeah, the rest of them are generally good to open. And then other monsters, for Dragon Extenders, we got Red Eyes. That card absolutely needs to be banned. If we don't get the errata that the OCG just got, this absolutely needs to be banned. And I think they're gonna ban it, and then we'll get the errata later in the year, and then they'll unban it. Black Metal Dragon. And then for rockets, it's a small rocket package, which is why I don't really call this like Rocket Dragon Link, because it's the smaller rocket focus. You just play the ones you need, which are Tracer, Solar Rocket, Magna Rocket, Auto Rocket, and Absolutor. Yeah, like, it's pretty self-explanatory. Like, you don't really want to see a lot of these. You only play Auto Rocket because it turns Quick Launch into a starter because it's level 3. And then these, just because if you don't want to draw a lot of the rockets, but if you do, you always want to keep like one of these in the deck. So, yeah. And then for tuners, we play Steam the Cloak, Glow Bulb, Destrudo, and funnily enough, Dragon Buster is a tuner, but that's not what you use it for. So, Destrudo is obvious, like you just dump it with Dragon Ravine. It's just the most generically easy to reach tuner monster. Glow Bulb, excuse me, Glow Bulb and Steam the Cloak are both just like the best things to summon off of fiber. Steam the Cloak even more broken than Glow Bulb is, because like this is 3 bodies. You summon it off of fiber, you link away with it, it makes a token, you tribute the token to revive it from the graveyard, you link it again and it makes another token. Like this card's absurd. I cannot see them keeping this card legal on the next list. Like this is one of the cards I think they'll ban. Like I think these 2 cards are like very much going to get banned. Glow Bulb I can see them banning just because it's not 3 bodies like Steam, but it is still 2 bodies, which is really powerful. If you run Link Karibo, I don't, because there's no room in the extra deck. It's a 1-card fiber. It makes Naturia Beast, which I also don't run in this, but like I don't know. I feel like Glow Bulb's also likely to get banned. Like I think these are both gonna go away. And then Dragon Buster Destruction Sword. This is the thing you equip with Union Carrier, and then it makes it so your opponent can't summon from the extra deck, which is beyond stupid. And then the last 2 monsters in the deck are World Chalice Guard Dragon and Galaxy Serpent. World Chalice Guard Dragon doesn't come up too much, but sometimes you just have lines where like you don't need to dump any other dragon with Dragon Ravine, so you can dump this and then revive the Galaxy Serpent. For the normal dragon, I'm between this or Hunter Dragon. Hunter Dragon obviously has the synergy of being a level 3, so you can do opening lines with it. But I feel like that play doesn't come up too often, and I feel like Galaxy Serpent being a tuner can actually be more relevant. Just because generally you want to save the Carbonated Summon for after you've made Apollosa, so you can use that dragon for Guard Dragon plays. One thing of note is that I don't actually play Starly Cypher or like the mini Chaos Dragons or Levianeer, and that was really just because of space. Like I wanted to keep this at 40 cards, and weirdly enough those cards just felt like they were not as useful as other cards in the deck could be, and that really might just be because Cypher is a normal summon when you usually want to dedicate your normal summon to like one of these cards. So it really just ended up like being less useful than other cards in the deck. Like if I wanted to go above 40 cards, I definitely would put them in because they're very powerful. And I'm assuming like after the ban list, though, this deck will probably be majorly restructured, and then they will probably find their way in the deck again. Because like when he's gone, and then you'll probably want to have other dragons that are better to search, which would be, you know, you'd search Cypher turns into Collapse Serpents, and then like there you have multiple bodies again. So they will probably be back after we lose these. It's just that I think these cards are like way more broken. So yeah. And that's all the monsters. And then for spells, it's just 3 Quick Launch, 3 Fossil Dig, Emergency Teleport, Foolish Burial, Dragon Ravine, Boot Sector Launch, and Upstart Goblin. And that's the main deck. For extra deck, it's Cherubini, LP, Pisty. I don't know if they'll keep LP legal. They probably shouldn't. This card's very bannable. But if they ban it, then this entire deck just crumbles. So the selfish part of me wants me to have them keep it legal. Something like that. Wants them to keep it legal. I don't know words, dude. Striker Dragon. I find that generally I don't use the pop to add a rocket back to hand just because there's so few of them, but searching boost after launch is huge. Crystron Halka Fibrax, aka Needle Fiber, because that's a better name. Yeah, this card's nuts. I've been waiting, what, 2 years for this card to come out. I'm definitely going to play whatever deck abuses the ever-living shit out of it. Romulus, Delindrous Dragon. You run this just because you need a generic... You need a dark dragon, or you need a dragon link too that you can go into, because you make Romulus while Pisty's still on the board, so you need something to get Pisty off the board, and this is just the best thing that I could think of. Union Carrier, that card's also nuts. Trigate Wizard, Apollosa, Draco Master of the Tenyi. This again is if they Nibiru you before you get to Apollosa, then Seer just revives Cherubini, and Cherubini and the Primal Being token make this, and then you just continue your play. Avramax. So I was between this or Nightmare Griffin, and the reason I went with Avramax is because this made it so I didn't have to play Nightmare Phoenix, which made it so that I could Trigate with Union Carrier, which I thought was really important. So basically, because the biggest problem with Union Carrier is that it's really weak. So they could just like summon a monster, swing at Union Carrier, kill it, and then Trigate is no longer able to negate, but Avramax just redirects all attacks to it, so yep. Boral Sword, and then Boral Savage, and the last monster is Dante. This is something I did in my old like Burning Abyss Orcus deck, and the reason for it really is just that when you have the hands where you have like an excess of level 3s, this lets you maintain hand advantage, because like every time he goes to the graveyard, he puts a Burning Abyss back in your hand, which is discard fodder. So you can like he puts like 2 BAs back in your hand because you're gonna send him to the graveyard, revive him, and then send him again to Link. And the alternative to this is that you revive Cherubini, but I find that often I don't use Cherubini for 2 Link material. I just use it for 1, just because of how many extra fucking Link materials this deck like has at its disposal. So because of that, I just appreciated being able to maintain cards in hand, and I think that's more important if like in sideboarded games where you're likely to decide, you know, like Anti-Spell Fragrance or Imperial Order or whatever, that you just want to have those hand size, because like otherwise you're going to drain your entire hand making this play. So I thought that was a big enough deal. If you didn't want to play this, it'd probably just be like Link Haribo. But yeah, so and yeah, that is the entire deck. No side deck, obviously, because there's no events to go to right now. So yeah, let's pile shuffle quickly so we can just do a test hand, and hopefully I get one where you can play out the entire board. Like, there's a lot of different ways to do the whole line, but the entire line like leads to the same board usually. So there are like a good handful of awkward hands, so I'll try to get one where I don't have to think too hard of how to make the entire line. Alright. See how this one looks. Yeah, that one's a little gross. I just drew like 5 different cards that you don't want to draw, so. Alright, this one should be doable. So we got Libic, which isn't going to matter. Got Junk Forward, Destrudo, Jackalope, and Fossil Dig. Alright. So start with Junk Forward, and then Fossil Dig. Here, because you don't have anything that needs to be a normal summon, you can just grab Carboneddin. Oh, one thing I didn't mention about Steam the Cloak is that if you open like Particularly Broken, where you already have access to Carboneddin and the Burning Abyss cards, you can actually send Steam the Cloak with Cherubini. Which is like not super amazing, but it's just kind of cute. So if you ever open like excess like cards, you could just do that. Alright, so link these into Cherubini. And then Cherubini will send Graph. Graph will summon Seer. You can just use Libic here to special summon it. And then here, because you have the Jackalope, you can even just go further and make Dante here. So I actually don't like milling with Dante, because there's so many cards in this deck you want to keep in the deck for this combo. So I just don't even bother activating Dante. The only time I would activate Dante is if like Graph or Libic is under him and Seer is either in my deck or in my hand, and just to get Seer onto the board. And then in that case I would just mill one. So here I'll activate Jackalope. For sake of worst case scenario, let's just say we hit Jackalope. So that makes Tsuchinoko. And then again here, if they Nibiru you, then Seer just revives Cherubini. Those make the Draco Master the Tenyi, and then you continue. And then here you make Abelosa. Very important, you make it on the left. And then Seer revives Dante, and Dante puts Seer back in your hand. And then here you activate Carmen to summon the Galaxy Serpent or Hunter Dragon, whichever one you're playing. And then link this into LP. LP activates, and you summon Black Metal Dragon. Link Black Metal Dragon into Pisty, and you put Pisty next to LP. This is very similar to the way the current Rocket deck does it. Black Metal Dragon adds Red MD to your hand. You banish LP for Red MD. Red MD revives any dragon, it doesn't really matter. So you revive that, and then link these into Romulus. Romulus adds Ravine to your hand. And then Pisty revives Red MD, and then Red MD revives any dragon again. Here I'm just going to revive Galaxy Serpent because it's a tuner. And then you link Red MD and Pisty into Delindrus. And then here you link these into Avramax, because there are two monsters summoned from the extra deck, I believe. Yep, no. I've never actually played Avramax in a deck, but I was pretty sure that was his summoning requirement. So here you activate Dragon Ravine, and then you ditch to send Absa Router to the grave. Router activates, and you summon, or you add Tracer to hand. So here it's actually like kind of useful that Destrudo was, Destrudo was drawn, because you can just revive Destrudo, pay half your life, targeting the Galaxy Serpent, obviously, and then, or let's put him there. Yeah, it's not actually gonna matter, but yeah. So gonna link Dante and Destrudo to make Fiber. And if your opponent's an idiot and saved Ash for right this moment, then Dante actually chain blocks the Fiber. So Dante just adds Libic back to your hand, and then Fiber summons Steam the Cloak. Here, Galaxy Serpent turns into Striker Dragon, which adds Boot Sector Launch to your hand. And then Striker Dragon and Steam the Cloak make Union Carrier. Steam the Cloak activates and summons the Steam token. Steam the Cloak can contribute the token to revive itself, and then these link into Trigate Wizard. And then Steam the Cloak activates again, summons another Steam token. And then you activate Boot Sector Launch. Activate Boot Sector Launch to summon the Tracer from your hand. Tracer destroys the Steam token. Summon either Silver Rocket or Magna Rocket from your deck, doesn't matter which one. And then link these, or synchro those actually, into Borlo Savage Dragon. Equip a link monster from your graveyard. The one with the strongest attack is going to be the Delindrus Dragon, so just summon that. Something to note, if for whatever reason you didn't have the extra monster to pop with for Rocket Tracer, like say like you had to do this with Glow Bulb instead, then Rocket Tracer on summon will revive Delingris, and then you can pop that with Rocket Tracer, and then just equip something else from the graveyard. But Delingris has the highest attack, so he gives him 800, so he's at 38. Then Union Carrier targets Boral as Savage Dragon, equips it with Dragon Buster Destruction Sword, so now Borreload is at 4,800. Your opponent cannot summon from the extra deck, and then you've got all attacks go back to Abramax. Trigate is negating. Apollosa has 3 negates on her. Yeah, so this is kind of nuts. And then you have these 2 in your hand if you made Dante. And like this is the main like line of play, and there's like a bunch of different ways to go about it, but it all ends on this board. And I don't really see a way to easily break this. Like they can't Super Poly because of Dragon Buster. You got like a million negates. Even if they like Dark Ruler no more, like they still can't summon from the extra deck. So I don't know how they're gonna run over all of this without being able to get to their extra deck. Like I guess like the only thing I can think of would be like Sphere Mode. But yeah, this is really nuts. Granted, it might all be pointless in a couple weeks, depending on what the ban list does. But I just really wanted to show off this deck and this line of play, because I know for a fact I won't be able to take it to a YCS. Like I said, I was going to take this to Charlotte, and then Charlotte got postponed, so it's just not going to happen. And I mean, it kind of sucks, but I mean, it's just how things are right now. But it is what it is. But yeah, thanks for watching, YouTube. Definitely want to mess around with stuff like this more, because like I said, I've waited so long for Needle Fiber to come out, and now that's actually here, I need to find ways to break the ever-loving shit out of that card. And this card's wild. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.